Hello. Hi. Martin here. Merry Christmas or Happy Saturday, depending on where you are, anywhere in the world. And I just thought I'd come on. It's 1 o'clock UK time. Just if anyone from the podcast was spending their time alone, and just to say hi and go through some notes. I've actually planned, I don't normally plan, but there are my notes for today, all about calming anxiety, what it is, why I do it, and the benefits, the ups and downs of mental health, really. Nothing more, nothing less. So welcome in for this live stream. The hat's a bit much. I'm not really the most Christmassy person going, but the light's so severe on my follically challenged head, I thought I'd wear a hat. I probably won't go for this one all the time, probably wear my cap. So welcome, and I'm going to talk about where calming anxiety is going to be going over the coming year. For those that have followed calming anxiety, you'll know that for excuse me, for the past 20 years, hang on, this is going to sound awful. Yeah, sorry about that. For the past 20 years, I've been a paramedic in the UK. I have to do this. Hang on. There you go. Christmas jumper time. It's my new Christmas jumper. Rid of looking rather cool and festive. Me being happy. And also my favourite mug. See if you can spot. Okay. Yes, I'm showing it. Broken handle. But it's still my favourite. Merry Christmas. Why is a broken mug my favourite? Because it was the first mug I had with that design, and if something's broken, it doesn't mean it's thrown away. There's that old Chinese thing where they fix things and paint them gold. Well, that's very much like that, except I haven't fixed it because it's still my favourite mug. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, 20 years as a paramedic, and then 2 years ago, a back injury at work, and I've spent the last 2 years not being a paramedic but working from home for the ambulance service, and paramedicing had defined me, and I talk about this as a point that life doesn't go our way a lot of the times, and we can either then focus on being negative about it and being down, looking for sympathy, which, come on, let's face it, a lot of people do. Let's be brutal and honest about that. Or you can understand and accept this is where my life is. It's not the best thing that's happened, so how can I best deal with it? So I threw myself into this other role where I work from home, but in 2 weeks' time I have to start a new job, which is 40 miles away, working in the headquarters for the ambulance service, in a new role, one that I never wanted, but I will do my best to enjoy. It may make producing calming anxiety a little bit more problematic, but I guarantee that the shows will still be there daily, and we've got some huge bills for the calming anxiety app. It is, even if I wasn't involved, I would be absolutely stoked with what we're doing with this app. I will have to thank him personally, Chris Gilchrist from Waterfront Digital. That firm are amazing. If you want an app built the way that you envisage and visualize it in your head, you just give them a brief and they create what you're thinking. Absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't already, do download Calming Anxiety. Forget the others. Go for mine, please. Because then I won't have to do this other job. So, down days. How do we cope? Let me read my notes. Best download. I was going to talk about the best downloads. But bizarrely, the very first podcast I did back on the 19th of October 2019 is still the top performing podcast for calming anxiety. And oddly enough, it is called Calming Anxiety, which is rather wonderful. Itchy nose, very itchy nose, always an itchy nose, red skin. And that then brings me on to, within the podcast, I always say, and within client meditation, because I'm a hypnotherapist as well, we as humans so often look at what we don't like about ourselves. We look in the mirror and we focus on our negative parts, where if you're obviously as old, wrinkly and ugly and bald as me, there's a lot to choose from. However, for 5 minutes at the start of each day, you've got to consciously stop with the negative thoughts. Look in the mirror and pick on something that you like. Hang on. Oh, thank you. Someone's just posted something nice about the app. Thanks. So focus on something you like. Maybe a smile, your ears, your nose, an eyebrow. Or no, it doesn't matter how small it is, just focus on it. I'm rocking this. Best techniques from my career of 20 years. If you're with someone having a panic attack, just telling them, just being there with them is enough. No one has ever died from a panic attack, from hyperventilation. And if you've ever witnessed someone having it, it can be just as stressful for you. But be calm, because the worst that's going to happen, it lasts for ages. And that's why ambulance crews turn up. We're kind of, especially the older or more experienced we are, and I'm not taking anything away from our newly qualifieds. They're awesome. But the more experienced you are at dealing with panic attacks, you're almost ambivalent to it, because someone's like breathing so rapidly, they're changing the alkalinity or acidity, I can never remember which way, of their blood, and you get tingling lips and nose, tingling fingers and toes. Your hands will claw, and it's really distressing, and you're in this feedback loop for the person going through it. The old brown paper bag, that's the old way. But coaching someone down just by being calm with them, reassuring them, and my go-to technique for it is always constant reassural. But the person's like, every third breath, hold it for a count of 3. So they'd be going, and it's that pause that helps you start to lower what's going on, the fact that you're blowing off all that carbon dioxide too fast. That I have a whole set of podcasts on panic attacks and hyperventilation, so just download the app. How do I cope when I feel low? Well, luckily my other half knows when I'm about to crash and become a bit of an, I don't want to swear, it's Christmas Day, a bit of an issue, and just pops another one of my sertraline in my mouth. However, when you feel that fog, that greyness, that wool, cotton wool in your head, and you can't break through it, for me it is deep breathing. It's take myself away from the situation, which is fast motorbike outside, which is a lot easier said than done. A lot of us cannot do that. It's so problematic. I'm just checking that I am still live streaming. Oh, I am live streaming. That's nice. One screen saying no one's watching, the other screen saying that someone is watching. I have no idea if anyone's watching because YouTube on one screen has completely messed up. You don't need to see that, but anyway. But do say hello in the chat, please, and subscribe if you're new. And if you have any questions, although I appreciate for mental health and our own personal issues, no one really wants to shout about it. So you can always email me at calminganxiety@martinhewlett.co.uk, and I really do my best to answer them all or shout me out on Twitter. But how do I cope? I cope by breathing. I know that's stupid to say, but mindful breathing. It was the cornerstone for me coping with my personality issue and the breakdown. And when I see anyone for hypnotherapy, when my clients come to me, I always teach them how to breathe. I teach them to be mindful of the breath and the relaxation on the out breath and the visualizations. And I'm far from perfect, and I still have I think that's thunder outside. Very festive weather. I still have incredible crashes and moments where that bad side comes through. So for me, mine was a dissociative personality disorder. So there are like 3 of me. It's not schizophrenia. It's just that when pushed from childhood PTSD, I would react like the 4-year-old self. And I think you find that a lot in men who've had a tricky childhood for whatever reasons, that especially for their partners, I think, why are they acting like such children? It's because when pushed, that's how we react. And I'm aware of it now, and I smile at it and I cope with it better. But as I say to clients and people on the podcast, please don't expect miracles when you go through a transition to change to a better person. You will still have crap days. You will still have moments where you feel like you haven't improved. Excuse me once I go on to... Oh wow, there are people there. Oh my God, sorry. It's not coming up on that screen. Thank you. Right, so I would just get Rebecca, I have mugs, PM me and I will send you a mug for free for Christmas. All right, I have 2 mugs, so not the broken one because that's mine, but I have some of those. So anyone in the stream, if you want one of those calming anxiety mugs, I will send them out. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm on my phone. The phone's working, and the other one's not, which is a bit of a poo. So I thought I was on my own. Little old me. Memorable moments for me. In my brief history, aged 14 and a half, in psychiatric care, bit of an issue in my life. Realised when I came out I didn't have to be tied to the issues I faced. Went through life, still a bit of a dick, eclectic mental health breakdown at the age of about 49, 50, which is 7 years ago, and then some awesome therapy, which, bam, I felt relieved. The voices in my head, not schizophrenic voices, but my own voice. You know, when we're horrible to ourselves, for people out there who constantly think they're a failure, and you're going, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're clumsy, all went. And so that's when I embarked. I retrained as a hypnotherapist. I put hypnotherapy, mindfulness, meditation together, came up with calming anxiety, and 2 years later, that's where I am now. Possibly one of the most obnoxiously positive, happy people around, Because when you become aware of the words in your head and the impact they have, you change everything about yourselves. And then you become aware of the words that everyone else is using when people focus on the negative. When you walk outside and it's raining, and today the weather is horrendous, but you could still go out there and enjoy it. You can still make the most apart from certain things. And it's always difficult when you talk to a camera and you know people are going through really bad times. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is always hope, right? And I like to engage and try and share my experience because I believe it can empower. And if I can leave the NHS in the next few years, my goal, with your help, because everyone who listens to the podcast or downloads the app generates revenue that will go into serving mental health in my area, and then the ambitions we have, they're going to be just groundbreaking. So by watching this, you're part of everything that I wish to achieve. That was there in the late 70s, which dates me, but I'm going to bring back with the funds raised by Calming Anxiety. Let me just have a look, please. I will go on about that, but memorable moments, that's coming up. Hello. Oh, thank you, Kim. And also, it won't scroll. Tech. You can tell I'm not a YouTuber per se or a tech person, but I've come here just to say hello to absolutely anyone that's just spending Christmas and wanted a bit of time out. I personally don't do Christmas, even though, it's nice when some of us relate. Christmas is always a tricky one for me, very big emotional trigger, but I am trying, and I have promised the family, it's my second family, that I will embrace it. We're having a late Christmas because I have young stepkids who are at their dad's, and it's wonderful that I can share. I'm a very broody, homely guy, and I brought my two boys up who are now 27 and 29, Jake and Tom. I was a house dad for 9 years. Awesome. Wasn't a perfect house dad, but they're great, and I've seen both of them yesterday and today. Thank you, lads. They've just given me a fab Prezi. It's not everyone's taste. It's a 20 kilogram weighted vest as I progress to new challenges in life. And I tried it out this morning. Christmas Day, I was in the gym. Anyway, memorable moments. My breakdown. I spiraled out of control and then had this incredible therapy, which is part of what I do in Calming Anxiety. Making people face that trauma and putting it in its place in your mind so that you can become the person you've always wanted to be, which is what I'm becoming. Trickier as you're older, because all of my old colleagues know the complete arsehole I was years ago. Reactionary, angry, negative, and I am now becoming the best version of me. Kim, it takes time. It really, there's no easy way of putting it. And there will be setbacks, and I've had a few, and what I am good at now is apologising, right? Especially to the kids. I am still reactionary, but I am way better. And I don't strive for perfection, and I don't expect perfection in others, which is what I used to expect. I still have the OCD awareness, but I smile at it now. and I still have the trigger awareness, and that makes me laugh when I see it. So I'm just reading these ones. Self-hypnosis, awesome. Hypnotherapy. You never find a sad hypnotherapist, because with our clients and our recordings, we're always talking in positives. When you, as I've always say, when you become aware of the power of your own thoughts and words in everyday life, in everything you do, it changes your perception of reality. It changes the way you see the entire world. Sorry, keyboard. Maybe I'll turn that on. I could play the keyboard for Christmas. Can I ask, can you hear the background music? My screen's... Hang on. I'm going webcam because I've just stupidly turned that on, and my camera seems to have jammed. Deactivate, activate. There we go. Woo. Oh, back. I don't know which camera I'm looking at now. Hopefully back on this cam. And see. Yes, I'm back. I am back. I do apologise. You can tell I'm not the most professional of Twitch and YouTube streamers, but I am here to give people a little bit of a virtual hug, a bit more Christmassy. Yay! I do like that one. So thank you, Stella, for that Christmas present. Let's take ourselves to summer. Oh, that's nice. That's where I'd like to be right now. I do like the water. I like being in the sea. I do. Let's go. This one. There we go. I've started cold water therapy. And I do put a link in most of my podcasts for the Wim Hof guy, the Iceman. Totally changed my life. I know so many people say, no, that's not going to happen. Oh, mate. Hello, John. Coffee Talk and Tech is here. Merry Christmas, buddy. Thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you as well for the shout out the other night. Hang on, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate dropping in and just leaving a comment. I'd finished work. It was 2 a.m. here when you started the other day, and I had to get up the other day, so I could only be here for 15 minutes. But Merry Christmas to you over the pond. We are so lucky with... Hang on, another sip from my broken glass mug. This is sugar-free lemonade and sugar-free Ribena. It's nothing fancy. So I've been on a keto diet for the last 11 weeks. Lost 2 stone because I have a grading for my martial arts next year. Let me read these. So one moment whilst I put you on that drone flight and talk and read. Oh, Kim, that is a beautiful thing to read. That is wonderful. Wow. I'm sending massive hugs to you there, Kim. That makes me happy. That is the wonderful Christmas present. To be in love with yourself is more than we could ask for in lives. And John, no sugar. I'm having 2 days of sugar. I'm off my keto lifestyle. I totally reversed type 2 diabetes. And it really bugged me as to why I was becoming diabetic. Yes, I eat chocolate, but I train a lot. I was fit and healthy. And then you look at the science. This is going deep today. You look at the science as to why you're becoming insulin dependent or intolerant. So So I went keto, which then developed into intermittent fasting. I've got a chest freezer for my ice bath, and I've changed my world. So mind, body and soul are now like that. It's awesome. It's not for everyone, but I eat less, I snack less, and I just feel whole for the first time since my early 20s. And we all make plans. I don't make New Year's lists or resolutions, that's the word. But next year I want the app to grow to 100,000. I'm going to try and get on Dragon's Den, which is like Shark Tank in the States. We need backing for a global campaign to push the advert out. John, if you want any tips on keto, ask me. I've done the research, and I love my diet. But so the app's going to be big. I'm going for my 8th degree black belt in Taekwondo, which is the final exam, which I've been doing for 40 years. That's at the end of February. And then I've got goals for another world record attempt at one of the powerlifting things I do. But on top of that, we're raising money for a defib for our local gym. And so that's a big undertaking. And on top of that, that metaverse and VR, that's where Calming Anxiety is going. To meet everyone that listens and grow what it's become. That's all. Right. Dragon's Den in Canada. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm hoping to be on Dragon's Den in the UK, unless there are 2 potential people who would like to either sponsor or invest. Unless anyone out there knows of how I can get a viral campaign going so that thousands more people download the app. It's growing, but we need more. And memorable moments from the last year. Tricky. Well, launching the app, obviously, but I won't go. This isn't a sales pitch. This is a virtual hug. I've enjoyed doing what I've been doing, mainly looking after the family from home as I work for the ambulance service from home because I can't do the job. I did try going back. Letting go of the back pain and realising, okay, I can't powerlift anymore, I can't deadlift and I can't squat, but you can work around it. Let's not focus on the bad. So 7 years ago when I had the mind explosion, on one day I had, let's put this into perspective about how we cope with bad things. I'd snapped my right bicep in a competition, which was an issue because I was off work for 3 weeks for treatment for a small cancer that I had at the time. And I came back from this competition to see my now ex-wife but good friend. Had packed and had left home. I walked into the house to see a letter from my oncologist saying the cancer was a little bit more aggressive and I needed to come back in for another op. So I always remember that day. It's a bit of a, that's awkward. Went to the hospital. They said, we'll fix the arm. So I had to come back the next day. Had surgery. The next morning, the surgeons come around. Now, he had fixed my leg about 10 years previous after a rather silly accident, boy stuff. And there I am. My nose is in plaster because that's where the cancer was. And I was a week away from having another operation. That's why I got unequal nostrils. They cut half of it out. See, that's part of me I don't like. But that scar is I'm alive. And if it hadn't been for surgery, my face would disappear and I'd be dead. Sorry to say it like that, but I'm very, 20 years as a paramedic, you're kind of black and white about these things. So there I am in hospital, my arm's in plaster from my knuckles all the way up to my shoulder, and the surgeon says, you're going out at 1 o'clock, what are you going to be doing? And I say, I'll be in the gym at 3, and I was, because that had happened, and I'm now, right, this is my new me, how can I improve? I can't bench, so let's do something else. I did break 3 plaster casts in a 2-week period, but I was in a Smith's machine squatting with my arm up here. I had a second op on my nose which cut it all out, which is awesome. Got another scar, got a funky scar on my arm which I'm kind of proud of. It's a blokey thing, I suppose. And yeah, I just turned that negative into a positive. The only time I got upset was trying to spread butter on my toast. It's the smallest of things that can set us off, because I'm right-handed, my right arm was done. I'd learned to brush my teeth with my left hand, and that's when I went to an electric toothbrush. There's a tip for life, electric toothbrushes. All right. There was other things. Anyway, and I couldn't spread it, and I just burst into tears and thought, how silly is that you're being upset about spreading butter? But it realised, and then I changed my approach again. Where else could you be? I am so lucky that I'm in the UK and we have a National Health Service. All right, I've worked for them and they've saved me. They've saved my life on a few occasions. All right, and I think when you come to that realisation, and also just before I joined the NHS, I'm rambling, but I'd worked out in North Africa and I'd seen true poverty. And I know we say we've got poverty in the UK. No, we haven't. Yet, I get it, and I know there are arguments and counter-arguments, but when you see a family coming out of a sewerage outlet to beg, right, I always remember the money I'd made, the profit I'd made from my stint there, I gave to them, came home with nothing, and my wife understood. You know, you give. Anyway, I rambled because I was going to go on about losing my career, or best moments, memorable moments over my 20-year career. There are so many people ask paramedics, what's the worst? Please never do that, because you will trigger them, and no one wants to go to their worst jobs. All right, I'm easy with that now. My best jobs, I've been fortunate enough to do 19 births, and I'm a broody guy, and my first 2 years as a paramedic, I was stationed next to a birthing centre, so I was very confident. But the worst job ever turned into the best job ever, where a mum birthed in the back of the ambulance in the middle of nowhere. We were halfway. It was an hour's drive on blue lights to get her in because it was going to be problematic. And long story short, baby came out quiet and flat for those in the know. But 15 minutes later, when it cried, that was the most joyous sound of my entire life. And boy, me and my crewmate Zoe, massive hugs for your support during that moment. We were all that training, and it wasn't me, it was all the training. Other great moments, I have to share this one, and this has been in the podcast, and this is for anyone that's struggling and thinks they can't do it. 10-15 years back, I had a patient that we would go to on a fairly regular basis, and on at least 2 separate occasions, possibly 3, we saved this individual's life from a heroin overdose. So Narcan, respiratory arrest, bag them, get them back. And generally when you've saved someone like that, they're very unappreciative. Generally gob off and leave. Anyway, fast forward some years, and I'm on a job on the ambulance. We've gone to an elderly guy. It's social care, and there's a young lady in there, and she's a carer. She's come in, and I kind of recognise her and don't. And I say, "How do I know you?" And she said, "Oh, you probably saved me a few times. I used to be a heroin addict and alcoholic." And I'm like, OMG. How on earth did you do that? Because to quit heroin, to quit alcohol, both, and still live in the same area, encapsulated within your social circle that don't want you to leave because you're all supporting each other. I said, how did you do that? And I love this one word response, which changed everything in my life. She said, I woke up and I just said, enough. Think about that. A heroin addict, an alcoholic, living rough, surrounded by other alcoholics and drug users. And she said, enough. And that changed her life. And now she's a carer. Now she gives to everyone else. And I'm like, I've got to be careful because I will well up. I need to meet her again. I walk around my local area with my eyes open. I cannot wait. I would love to interview her. I would love her to write her story. I mean, how empowering is that? And I've been a chocoholic, and don't laugh, right? Because the chocoholic has made me, or got me to being type 2 diabetic until 11 weeks ago when I decided to take control. And I said, enough. And I think that's it. It's the power. It's the desire to say, right, enough. I'm going to go now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take control for my life because no one else is, right? I see it all too often in the mental health patients who, through no fault of their own, society, ours, are thinking other people should help them. Deep down, people are here. So I'm going to have to go soon, team. I don't know what's time. What a long live stream. Yeah, so enough. Hang on, yes. Oh wow. Kim, do drop me your email. Let me send you one of my if you want, or a t-shirt. Thank you for sharing that. That's what this is about, and I'm glad that like so many, taking control. We come from a very dark past, and I think most people do. It's beautiful. So happy Christmas, everyone. For those of you who are not of the Christian faith, for those of you who find Christmas problematic or don't believe in it, happy Saturday. All right. We don't have to believe or to embrace, to share and let those around us celebrate. I'm getting better, and the family I'm with are understanding of why I feel the way I do. But thank you for sharing this moment with me. Let's go out there and spread some kindness and happiness. Take care. What button can I press? Should we do that one? Oh, I love those trees. I've just bought a drone and I'm sending it up all the time. I love that. I love flying. I used to fly.
Techniques for stress by calming anxiety.
But not anymore. Ooh, it's gone dark. Take care. Merry Christmas. And I'll speak to you all soon on the podcast.